What is going on, Wolfpack? Savage here. Today we're going to be covering another viewer submitted breakdown and specifically talking about duos. During this match, I'll be breaking down this duo's gameplay and we're going to be analyzing their decision-making process as far as rotations, as far as who to engage, and when they do get third-partied, because they do, how to get out of that fight and avoid being third-partied in the future. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you go ahead and subscribe today. Also, leave a like on the video. Let's get this video to 700 likes. And as always, if you're tired of playing by yourself, because I know we all are, make sure you join our Discord community. Link to that will be in the description below. You guys can join the LFG pages and hopefully find some groups and teams in order to pull out some W's. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the video. All right, this is a duos gameplay and we are going right for bounties right off the rip. Remember guys, like I always say, make sure you allow everyone to land before you pick up the bounty, because too many times I see players and myself and my squad mates will pick up a bounty too soon, and next thing you know, the bounty's halfway across the map and you're sitting there wondering, how did it get so far away? And that's usually why, because they're floating in. The game registers them as being close to you, so it gives them the bounty, and next thing you know, they float 15 miles away from you, and you guys got to really hawk them down or just give it up. Most of the time, just giving it up. But we are spectating my dude, Batman. It's going to be a little bit south of Quarry. I love this area. I love Quarry. A lot of YouTubers, a lot of streamers, a lot of players aren't really fans of Quarry, but I love it. There's a lot of buildings, but each building has different routes to get up to an enemy should they be camping. Downtown I hate because of all the buildings, but again, there's only one way up and one way down with the exception of zip lines, but that doesn't count. Quarry has so many buildings, but it allows you to push in on any camper from any direction. There's multiple entrances and exits in the building, and that's why I love using Quarry to work the enemy. It's a great spot to fight in my opinion. All right, now that the bounty is identified in this house, the last thing you want to do is allow the bounty to have time to go up in the blue building. Now, as I was saying about Quarry, you know, most of the buildings you can push multiple ways. The blue building, not so much. You have one way up, one way down. So you want to go ahead and get to that building before the bounty actually gets there. So make sure you don't allow the enemy to come to this building, because that's going to be a real pain in the ass to push. But while you're holding this building down, you also want to make sure that the enemy is not pushing across the street like he is right now. And was saying that when you guys came to this building, you instantly should have went upstairs, got the high ground. That way when the enemy pushed away, because he will, that way when the enemy pushed away, you could shoot him in the open. You're probably level 2, maybe even level 3, because you're so close to the enemy. So at that point, of course, the enemy is going to run away from you. So again, get to the high ground instantly. I wouldn't loot. I wouldn't find anything. I would just try to take care of this bounty as soon as possible, get that money, and then continue onward. And again, the main reason for that is so they don't go into another building and camp. I'd rather shoot somebody when they're out in the open crossing the street than have to try to push a building no matter how easy it is to push. Now, this building is considered, you know, Quarry, and this is a perfect example of the type of buildings I'm talking about. There's a ladder up the right side. There's a ladder right in front of you. There's a ladder on the left side. There's also, you can go in from the bottom and come up the staircases. There's so many different options. There's actually a ladder on the other side. There's so many ways to push these buildings. So this is why I actually love fighting in this area. There he is on the bottom. What a troll. I love it. I love that, bro. All right, but you do have an enemy to your right. I don't know exactly what that enemy was doing. I think he was trying to pre-fire you, but it just doesn't make sense why he'd be pre-firing. One, he's wasting his ammo. Two, he's by himself, so it's not like he's waiting for his teammate to do anything on the other side of it. So I don't understand that at all.
I got nothing on heartbeat.
All right, so we do have an enemy at the other building across, and again, just like I said with Quarry, every building is easy to push, so definitely engage in this fight.
Shit.
Now, I believe there's actually... Is my headset on backwards? I think there's a shot coming from over here by him. There was a suppressed shot to his left. I literally had to make sure my headset wasn't backwards, and it was actually his teammate shooting, but I think it's an enemy. There's a flag objective here. Yeah, there's got to be somebody close by. Again, utilize your audio. Even when you're in a gunfight, make sure you're paying attention to your mini-map, just like this man is. We know that somebody's over here shooting. And the reason we know that is because we're listening to our audio. Despite shooting at an enemy, we didn't assume that it was our teammate. We looked at the mini-map. We saw that our teammate was on the right side of us, and the shots came from the left. Common sense dictates there's an enemy on the left side of you, right? Another decoy grenade being tossed out. I'm not sure exactly where the enemy's at. Ports, who's blue, threw a Molotov at the ground, but he never pinged if that's where the enemy is. I'm not 100% sure what's really happening right here on comms. Now, I'm not a fan. Whenever you go into these buildings, you want to make sure you clear the right-hand side. He just walked in the doorway, never even looked in the right-hand corner. It worked out, and luckily there wasn't anybody there. But again, you always want to check the corners when you walk into an area, especially when you know there's an enemy close by. All right, there's an enemy on minimap right now, and this is the time that paying attention to minimap is crucial, right? If he was paying attention to minimap, he could jump through the window right here to the right side, get inside this building, and then peek the left-hand door right over here, and then shoot at the enemy who's obviously in the open. This guy right here shooting is very ballsy. He shouldn't be shooting because he's got very little cover. He may have a rock, maybe. But because we have the high ground, it doesn't matter what he has. He's an easy kill. It might even be the player with the bounty on you guys, to be honest. But unfortunately, I don't think Batman was paying attention to the minimap because he's not making his way over there. Now, this is something you want to avoid, right? We've spent a lot of time in here. We know that there's enemies around us. And we just, instead of going outside and trying to pick the fight and engage in the fight, we're sitting here and we're kind of going defensive mode. Now, the reason why this is scary is because we don't know how many there are. Is there one? Is there two? We don't know. If there's two of them, you run the risk of them pinching you, right? You're giving them ample amount of opportunity to flank on you. One push from the left, one push to the right, one push from the high ground, one push from the low ground, whatever the case may be. You're giving them that option to go ahead and throw the audible. Basically, one guy busts on the right side. Y'all both start targeting him. Next thing you know, his teammate comes from the left, and then you get shot in the back. This is why I'm not really a fan of this fight. I would have gone outside and tried to engage the fight before I gave the enemy time to come up with a game plan. This game is honestly a lot about misdirect. You want to confuse the enemy as much as you can. You can see right now, the enemies are over here. They're shooting at you. They're rotating. The enemies have a plan to go ahead and confuse you guys, and y'all need to be on top of the ball as well. Confusing the enemy is a drastic key in this game. If you watch any top tier streamer, if you watch any streamer that's got really time in this game, they're going to try their best to confuse the enemy. Whether they take a vehicle, they drive to them, they all jump out and go different ways, whatever the case may be. Even if they're a team of campers, they're going to be camping different corners. That's still confusion, right? You want to make sure you're utilizing the confusion tactic and not giving the enemy team time to come up with a misdirect on you guys. Also, again, the loadout drop should be coming down in the next 30 seconds. I believe it's 15 seconds. I can't remember right offhand, but it's going to be coming down around the 10-second mark. And then when the free loadout drops, land on it, grab it, and then you can go for the bounty. Again, not a huge fan of picking up the bounty and making that my prime focus right now. Just always be aware of when the free loadout drops because it is coming in the next 30 seconds. I'd rather pick up the bounty and push them when I have my loadout than come here, grab the bounty, and have to fight them with, you know, whatever loot we happen to find. Not to mention, if you both land here, which it looks like you're doing, so not to mention when you both land here, the loadout drop will probably not land right on you. It'll be near you, but it might go TV station. It might go to the compound to your east. It might go across the ravine to your west. And the last thing you want to do is have to push out in the open. And all of these areas are actually pretty dangerous. The last thing you want to do is push out in the open with very little loot, like a scar, you know, one plate, just to try to get your loadout, and then grab your loadout and have to run all the way back. And there's a loadout drop in TV station right next to the buy station. Oh, you hate to see it. That's a very hard one to get. I mean, definitely go for it, but again, it's going to be a very hard push. TV stations usually got a couple people sitting on it, especially in duos, and then it's right next to the buy station, so that's going to be a hot spot. All right, so we have a vehicle coming. Well, they're actually not coming at us, so never mind. We're good. Oh, they're coming back. There we go. There we go. And he got off his vehicle, which lets me know that he spotted you. So in a position like this, when we notice the vehicle, you know, got off, when we notice the player got off the vehicle, he's got prime time on you. So at that point, you need to be on the other side of the loadout drop. Yes, when you pick up your loadout drop, it's going to go away and then you're going to be vulnerable. But when you're in the menu trying to decide what loadout you want to put yourself on the back side of it so that if he does start shooting at you, you're not going to be an easy target. Because right now, it's not looking that pretty. Both vehicles now got out of their vehicle. I don't think these guys are paying attention to the minimap because they have no idea. Okay, the enemies don't look like they really noticed you were there. Maybe they got out to buy their own loadout. I'm not sure. But again, that's where paying attention to the minimap is crucial. You know, even though they didn't shoot at us, that gives us a time. We know there's two enemies there, right? We saw two vehicles pull up. No one shot. They're on the same team, clearly. So you'd work your way up to the TV station, get some easy mid-range, long-range shots on them, and kill them before they get back in the vehicles and drive off, or before they get their loadout drop and push you. I will say, I am happy that you guys are picking up bounties and you're trying to play aggressive. You're aggressive. I love that. Definitely, you know, get into the habit of going after bounties. Don't be afraid to do it. Again, you guys become more efficient with chasing down players and learning how to push buildings and learning how to rotate and out-rotate the enemy and out-maneuver the enemy. You will become better at this game. If you guys are playing slow and passive, just trying to get the win with, you know, 3 or 4 kills, you will get better. It's just going to take you a lot longer. The more you fight, the more practice you get, the better you'll become. But I will say it still breaks my heart that these guys didn't Notice the two vehicles on the minimap, bright red. You know, you just gotta just glance at it from time to time, because that could have been 2 easy kills for them for sure. All right, but I do love the way that you guys are rotating. You know, a lot of players would push up here, right? They would push on the low ground because they would just beeline to it. They wouldn't sit here and they'd be like, okay, what's the better position? Do I want to fight on the high ground? Do I want to fight on the low ground? Do I want to fight on even terrain? What do I want to do? They would just see the bounty and they would make a beeline for it, beeline me, and they just run straight for it, right? They would just come up the street, waving their hands in the air like, hey guys, what's up? And then start shooting, and they'd probably get shit on. So I love the fact that you got to the high ground. High ground's always preferred. Granted, in some cases it's not, and we'll cover that in other videos. But, you know, open circle like this, not being forced out. I'm not really sure what that dude's doing. I think he's twerking.
What the fuck are you doing, Melissa?
Melissa, you better stop. All right, look, I will say, just judging by your aim and your accuracy, you have a little struggle with recoil, right? You really are. This gun is usually a laser. You really don't need a grip with it. And I don't know, you know, maybe it's an off day, maybe it's just an off time, but I can tell with your hesitating at shooting at the enemy, you're not really that, you know, confident in your gunplay. Not to mention, again, with the recoil, you're trying to burst fire and still it's got a lot of upwards recoil. So just try to practice against bots or whatever you can, or just shooting at a wall. Just practice, you know, pulling down on the stick. You're on console, right? Yeah, you're on console. So just practice pulling down on the stick to control the recoil. Recoil control in this game is drastic. The guns really don't have that much recoil, but if you guys don't take the time to learn the recoil on the guns you're using, you will have a little bit of struggle to it. So just take a little bit of time. Maybe it won't take that long, 30 minutes, you know, shooting at some bots, or just, again, load into a private match and shoot at a wall, and just practice on keeping the spread very, very tight. All right, now an option you guys could do is
pinch this guy.
You could pinch him, just like he said. I like that. The problem with pinching him is we don't know if he's got a teammate. We don't know if he's got a teammate. And with saying that is he could have a squad member sitting in one of these buildings. So you got to be very careful when you push this guy and be aware of what's around you. You want to push him. You want to play aggressive. But again, you want to at least scan and look towards the compound to your right. That way you don't push in the street. Next thing you know, you're getting head tapped by his teammate. And then you guys don't stand a chance, right? All right. Again, trigger control. You don't want to shoot the enemy when you can't see him, right? You lasered him, you beamed him at first, but as soon as he unpeaked, you just kept spraying and your crosshairs went everywhere, and you wasted a little bit of bullets. And the reason why I say that is because, again, your ammunition count's looking a little low. You've got 13 over 90. When you do pop this, you'll have, I don't know the math, but I think it's going to be 60 over 43. Let's see. I was right. Let's go. So just be very careful. Again, y'all have made no attempt to even look to the right or even look for a second teammate. So that's a little unfortunate. Throw the C4 up there. Beautiful. Now, one thing that the enemy can do, if you're in the enemy's position right here, guys, and there's a duo pushing you and you're on a building like this and you get C4 thrown at you, by all means, you can sit up there and try to outplay it. But again, if you have stuns, which I always recommend, you can throw the stuns down and then easily 1v2 the squad. Again, if you have a stun, and work the outside of the building, or you could jump off and try to run maybe down the ravine, get a better position, wait for the enemies to peek, and then take them out one at a time. Again, duos is really awesome because, yes, there's a lot more teams to worry about. Yes, you can get third party a lot, but if you lose a teammate, you can 1v2 a squad easily. So let's see what happens with this guy. All right, the enemy jumped off. I hear him on the left-hand side now. Again, headsets are crucial. There he's with the fire shotgun. Oh! That was the longest sip of my life. All right, so here we are. We see a vehicle going to the buy station. Now, again, if you see vehicles like this go to the buy station, you want to go ahead and get up to that point. Now, the moment that I saw that little vehicle, that little bot pop up on my mini map, I already know what he's doing. Nobody drives a vehicle this compound with there's a buy station there unless they're using the buy station. So the moment I saw that red vehicle, I wouldn't break the window. I'd instantly go out the door. That way he didn't hear me break glass, just in case he has really good audio. I would work my way to this big ass building right here that has a perfect line of sight on the buy station. I don't know if these guys even noticed the enemy. Oh, he just did. Good shots, brother.
Down one.
All right, now you do have an enemy down. You do have a precision strike. Now, you don't have to waste the precision strike, but you get in the hard point. But if you get in a bad situation where your teammate gets picked or you feel like they're about to get the res and there's no way you can get a kill, definitely go ahead and throw it on the enemy. With saying that, though, you're alive, you're going on the left-hand side, you're changing your angle of approach. I absolutely love that. Meanwhile, your teammate's on the higher point inside the building shooting from the window. So you guys are essentially hitting the enemy from two directions. So the chance of them surviving this fight is very slim. So I love the fact that you guys are doing this. There's both enemies right in front of you. They get the pick on your teammate, but because you change your angle of approach, it makes it very easy for you to get the double kill, which I assume is going to happen because there's a lot of the video left. My point to changing your angle of approach, should he have stayed right here under his teammate who's shooting from the window, then the enemy that killed his teammate, all they would have to do is lower their crosshairs and start shooting at you. But because you came at them from the left-hand side,
He's back. He's alive again.
not only did you get it down before they knew where you were at, but now it's an even 1v1 fight. I'm assuming the other player's armor may be damaged because of the gunfire he was taking from your teammate. And it puts the enemy in a position to decide, do I want to go for the res and risk the enemy pushing me and get an easy double kill? Or do I want to try to fight this out? So you want to go ahead and make sure you're making the right decision and doing it quickly. In situations like this, one, I hear him going for the res, but in situations like this, stun grenades again, super key. And because you made the enemy think, the enemy chose the wrong decision. All right, but here we are. The circle is rotating across the ravine. So now we have to push from downtown across an open area with a bounty to our left and somehow get safe. Now, in a position like this, when we know an enemy's, sitting on a building and we have to cross the open, the last thing we're gonna do is push across the ravine before he does and give him the opportunity to kind of shoot you guys from the rooftop and make it very hard for you to cross without getting killed. So just kind of play the edge of the circle in this position, wait for the enemy to fly off, and then shoot him while he's in the air. He's actually not in there at all. I think he's on the ground. There he is right there. Boom. Easy. Also, I highly recommend you lower your ADS sensitivity. I truly believe your ADS sensitivity is at a 1, maybe a 0.8. You want to lower it a little bit to, again, 0.5 to 0.7 is what I recommend. Maybe a 0.4 to a 0.6. Just kind of play around with it. But that way you can kind of transition without having to jump around. It's all jumping. And there's the last guy on the back end. Now he's in the open. Go ahead, ADS your gun and get easy shots off. For some reason, we're not shooting at the enemy, and I'm not a fan of that at all. Again, no one's shooting at you right now. Hospital has gunfire, but they're occupied with each other, so you're probably going to be safe there. Again, as fast as you can down people with the Grawl, this guy right here, he's not that far away. The Grawl with a VLK on it could easily, even iron-sighted, could easily take this guy out right here. So I definitely would have fought him. But unfortunately, we're giving him, the opportunity to come up with an outplay. Not a huge fan of that, especially since the fact he's beelining it for the red roof building. It's kind of weird. Now, this building is on the edge of the circle. It is safe on the edge of the circle. So to me, that gives a red flag in my head. Holy shit, there's probably going to be a team sitting here gatekeeping. There might not be. There's only, there's 31 players left. Yeah, there's going to be a team here. I'd put money on it. Not even the enemy that just ran to it. I think there's another team in there. He's already in there. Weird. And again, it just comes from predicting the gameplay based off of your experiences in the game. If you play this game enough, players usually play the same. So if you play this game enough, man, you can kind of really predict what's going to happen. All right, so the position we're in right now, we have a choice to make. There's 3 enemies. There's 2 inside, and then there's the 1 on the outside right here. You can barely see it on the mini map. So do we get to the edge of the circle and gatekeep, or do we just play this building and try to get this fights won, and then get safe afterwards? Now, I would go ahead and try to win these fights first. And the reason being is it's going to be very hard for you guys to sit on the edge of the circle of the next zone and gatekeep because there's really no cover there. Not to mention everyone that you heard shooting at hospital is also going to be rotating in that area, and you're going to be vulnerable. So gatekeeping in this circle, virtually impossible. I would kind of go ahead and just throw that idea out the window. So I would play this building first off. I'd work my way around the corner, take care of the guys on the backside. Clearly, he's too scared to push the duo team up there, and I don't blame him. So go ahead and take him out. And after you get the kill, you can sit here, wait on the bottom of the building, or maybe behind the truck right here to our left, wait for that duo team to jump off the roof or come out the bottom, whatever they decide to do, and then easily take them out. You can gatekeep without being safe in the next zone. Again, sit right here and wait for everybody to come to you. That's exactly the way I would play it. Do not run to the next zone because, again, it's a bad position to be in. And you don't want to be distracted with a gatekeeping scenario and get shot in the back from hospital, get shot in the back from the other compounds. There's your homeboy right there. Holy crap. All right, they're making their way to the circle, and I'm not a huge fan of that. And he needs ammo, too.
How much ammo did that guy have?
All right, perfect. But look at the mini-map right now, guys. Again, pay attention to your mini-map at all times, especially in-game. You need to be glancing at it every few seconds. I'm not even kidding you. As I'm talking to the camera, I'm literally glancing at the circle as well, just to show you guys how important it is and how fast you can do it without really distracting yourself from the gameplay. Now, there's a dot over here, so clearly either A, the duo has left the building and they're over here fighting, or B, it's another enemy that somehow or for some reason rotated this way. I'm not sure why he would, but there's clearly something going down over here. So you want to go ahead and round the corner and get the fights and get these easy kills, because they are going to be, you know, screwed. All right, you just saw him running through the back door. So now they're going to be running through the front door. I would go ahead. Okay, there's 3 enemies. Okay, so again, like I said, you could have sat here on the edge of the building and waited for the duo to come down. Got the easy duo kills. It's a little too late. You might be able to laser this guy first, depending on how fast your reaction time is. But the other guy, too late for him, right? He's safe. But again, don't forget the guy who just ran in through the door. He's going to be coming out here soon. Yeah. So you don't want to get too distracted with that. Now, this is a position I'm not really a huge fan of. We're not really scanning to our right side, which scares me because hospital's usually super poppin', super popular. And also we're focused on the duo in front of us. But whatever happened to the guy that ran into the bottom floor right before the circle forced him in, right? So I feel like there's another enemy going to be to our left side. He may rotate far away from this fight, which would be good. But again, don't risk it. Also, in this position, this is a fight I wouldn't engage in. I wouldn't worry about the guys inside the building right now. I would wait for the circle to finish closing in. That way you can make sure there's no one on the hill about to shoot you. You can make sure there's no one in the gas station about to shoot you. These guys, and not to mention this guy on the hill right in front of them, right here. But these guys in the building, they're not going to push you. These guys, they want to be inside. They want to be sitting in the corner, hiding, maybe, you know, making out or something. Whatever the reason is, they don't want to fight you. So again, save that fight for later. You want to make sure you're safe for the next zone, and make sure you're back safe first and foremost before you push into that building, unless you have the plan to, for some reason, fight this fight and then rotate to promenade. And if that's your plan, of course, go ahead and do that. But if your plan is to stay on this side of the circle, which is something I may recommend, definitely would go ahead and make sure all this is clear before I start engaging the guys hiding. Because if you do down one guy, guess what? He's going to get rezzed. And not only have you allowed your back to be vulnerable, but you're wasting plates, you're wasting ammo. It's just not fun for anybody. Now, when he got shot, when his teammate got shot, I saw the tracers of the enemy who's shooting him coming from below, right? It took Batman a little longer to kind of realize where the enemy is. Even when you guys are shooting, you want to pay attention to tracers that are coming across your screen. That way, you guys can realize where his teammate is. Unfortunately for him, though, it looks like he's going to get an easy knock. And then we have his boyfriend up top. That's sitting there behind a rock. Now, the reason why I was saying I would definitely stay on this side of the circle is let's talk about in-game rotations. Let's talk about where I would go right now, because we don't really know where to go for the next zone. Not yet. Maybe in 4 seconds we will. But we don't know where to go. What's an easier place to rotate to? What's a harder place to rotate to? If we look at the hill to our right, that right there is going to be a harder push. So should the circle rotate there, you definitely want to already be there, right? Not to mention, if you happen to be on the hill and the circle does rotate to the south, it's easier to leave the high ground and push across using the rocks, ravines, trees, things like that to push the promenade area. It will be an easy push because there's so many buildings, because there's so many trees, because there's so many rocks. Granted, yes, you will have to worry about rooftop campers, but I'd rather worry about rooftop campers who have to put themselves vulnerable to be able to shoot you than guys who can kind of head glitch the rocks and the trees and the ridges and things like that on the hill, right? So I feel like this would be a harder push. And the reason why I would push it right now is because we already killed one guy. We shot another one. We broke his armor. And while we were fighting them, guess what? No one else appeared. And that's a small sliver of the hill that's safe. So if there was another team over here, there still may be another team. But if they are, they're going to be a little bit further back. So I would go ahead and finish killing this guy you marked on blue and keep this hill, keep the high ground. That way, again, if the circle rotates to you, you have favor. If it rotates away from you, you're pretty safe because there's still 17 enemies left. You can easily push across when everyone's distracted with each other. But don't forget about the guy on blue. All right, there it is. The circle rotated to the hill. All right, I like how the enemy's using the ridge as a head glitch. He's not putting himself out there. He's not standing up. He's just, only thing you can see is his head and his gun. And you guys need to learn from that. You guys need to take that as an example. Holy crap. What are you doing, fam? What are you doing? You have the high ground. You have the advantage point. It's a 50-50 circle. It's either A, going to rotate back across, or B, it's going to rotate to you. I'd rather be on this side because, again, it'll be easier to shoot enemies on the south side of the circle than it will be to shoot them on the north because of all the ridges that he just left. Not only is he leaving a safe position and a good position, but he's leaving to run right at us with no cover. I mean, do I really need to go into depth on what he did wrong there? I don't think so. But here we are now. We get in the high ground. We get in position. There's 14 enemies left. There's still a lot of players for this small circle, but that's because everyone's camping promenade. Another reason why I would rather be on the hill. Now look at this terrain. This is exactly why I like this place. Look at the ridges. Look at the trees. Look at the cover that we have. That's what I see when I see this area. I don't see just a mountain. I don't see just a hill. I see ridges and strategy and tactics happening and how to rotate and out-rotate gunfights and peeking and non-peeking. That's what I see when I look at this. So this is exactly where I want to be. I'd rather fight here than fight in promenade. For sure. Whatever this building is, the rooftop will be safe, and that will be your main concern, right? That will be your main concern. I also, in a position like this, I think I'd rather be behind the ridge over here, maybe behind the vehicle, behind some trees. Make sure you and your teammate are spread out. I don't mind the fact you're hiding behind the tree. The problem is you're hiding behind the same tree, which means if you get shot at by another duo squad and they have two angles on you, because your body's protected from directly in front of you, from directly in front of this tree, right? However, if they're just a sliver to the side, they're going to have angle on your shoulder. If they're just sliver to the other side, they're going to have an angle on your shoulder. So you don't want to both be behind the same small tree. But even if you're screwed, if your teammate is at another tree, at another position, if you start getting shot at, your teammate can then focus that enemy and give you time to get safer, give you time to play, and give you time to get into the fight. All right, teammate is rotating. Good on you, brother. Good on you. Maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe I spoke too soon. I still spread out just a little bit. There we go. You guys, come on, man. Y'all know what to do. I love it. I would spread out just a little bit more. I like that. Again, you guys want to have a wider angle of attack. So basically right now we just sit back and we wait. Keep your eyes focused. I don't think anybody's coming up behind you. If so, let's make sure blue's looking. But as far as us, as far as Batman's concerned, just stay focused on promenade. It's all just going to work itself out organically. Huge mistake right here. Huge mistake. Oh God, I saw it coming. Oh no. I saw it coming, bro. Holy crap. So again, like I told you earlier, there may be somebody on this hill, but if they are, they're going to be further back. And also, I also said, while you're watching promenade, make sure blue is watching that side of the hill. The fact that he ran to you for whatever reason, and I'm guessing to give you ammo, I would assume it was drastic mistake, and it put us in a position where we could potentially throw this game. I don't like that at all. Again, when you're playing the edge of the circle and the circle's closing in and it hasn't fully closed and it's this small, you guys have got to keep your eyes on all fronts. There's nobody watching the west side right now, and unfortunately for you guys, your teammate goes down and now you have no armor. Not only that, but should hospital be on the roof and hear this shit taking place, if they're not already in their own fight, you're now vulnerable from the rooftop as well. This is very dangerous. I do not like this at all. Thankfully, you're able to get the kill. Now, again, you're vulnerable right here. Is that a sniper glint looking at you? Holy shit, it is. All right, in that position here, allow your teammate to crawl behind the tree, directly behind the tree. And this is something every player needs to learn. How to line up your body with a tree to be protected while you're downed. A lot of times you guys will lay sideways, your foot will stick out, your head will stick out. It's not the way to do it. Line up your feet and your head directly behind the tree to keep yourself safe. Never go for res out in the open like this with your teammate exposed, because holy shit, he didn't get executed. Wow. All right, you need to be plating right now. You need to be plating while you run. Go ahead and in this position, you can go prone because he doesn't have an angle on you. Again, because of the ridges. Oh, I just want to keep pointing out everything that I've been saying. There's an important reason for it. Look at this. Where would I rather be? The hill. Why? Because of the ridges. Why? Because of this. You can't get shot anymore. Thankfully, he didn't execute your teammate. I thought for sure he was going to. But for some reason he didn't, and now you're plated up and ready to go. Unfortunately, you're both down to 2 plates right now, but there are 5 enemies left, right? Okay. Y'all have the best vantage point. You don't have to leave right now. I would definitely utilize your gas mask to maybe stay in the gas a little longer to win the fights.
7 teams, 7 guys.
So it's a duo and 3 trios.
Need it?
I could use a plate or 2, yeah.
All right. You know what I see right here? I see a rock. Ooh, that's cover. That's beautiful cover. Big ass thing of cover. Way better than a small little tree, right? Screw this little pine tree. Get yourself to this big ass boulder. I'm gonna call that Pride Rock from now on. Get yourself to the Pride Rock, man. Get safe. Because if an enemy crests this hill, he's gonna shoot you. If an enemy comes over here, he's gonna shoot you. But you put yourself behind a big ass rock. Good luck. That's where I would work my way to. You can allow your teammate to stay over here, maybe behind a tree or something. But again, you don't want to sit behind the same tree. Hey, look, there's another rock right here too. Now, as far as the enemy's concerned, that was just not smart. One thing he should have done was just jumped off the roof and fell straight down and pulled his parachute the last second and got behind this wall. It's probably not going to be safe, but it's safe right now, and it's safer than his body is. He's dead. So this is where I would have gone. I would have dropped down, pulled my parachute last second, and then tried to outplay a 1v2 situation. Granted, again, these guys have great position. These guys have the best position in the game. So the chance of him winning that fight is probably slim to none anyway, but he could at least practice, could at least, you know, had an opportunity to win the gunfight. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen, a 2v1 situation. We're looking for one guy with a sniper, and there he is, the guy who was originally shooting at us before. Oh no. Oh no.
I got it.
Boom, baby. I love it.
Oh my god, that's a victory!
Let's go. Let's go.
That's my first victory.
Hey, it's his first W, boys. I love that. I love that, man. Batman Ports, thank you guys for submitting the gameplay, guys. I really enjoyed watching that video. There was a lot of lessons in this video, a lot of in-game lessons, which I really want to force down your guys' throats. So thank you again for submitting this video. This is a great one. But again, if you have not already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, join the wolf pack today, and leave a like on the video. Let's get this video to 700 likes. Again, I hope you learned a lot in this video. If you did, please let me know what it was in the comment section below. Until next time, guys, y'all have a good one. Good luck in Warzone. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you check out one of these two videos over here. And as always, subscribe by hitting the button over there. Y'all have a good one and keep on improving.